on Facebook. Check on Facebook. Future, make sure we're live.
Didn't see anything
We
yet.
should be.
Didn't see anything yet.
Nothing.
There's guys. You don't get that.
Oh wait, guy is live.
Guy is live. Guy is live. Also on YouTube.
This is Mac. Oh, this is on your page. No, it says Guy Cyril's now live in Mac the Future.
And do you see that link there on my page for YouTube? The YouTube link.
Which page?
Yeah, the one you just
Would
put
you-
comments.
Yeah, would you post that over on the Mac the Future page?
You mean the StreamYard /Facebook?
No, I did that already. Hold on.
No, the YouTube link. I'm going over to look at it now. Okay, well, it looks good.
You're streaming YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube now as well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to do a quick test comment there. Sorry about how late we are, everybody.
I have to blame Guy on that one.
Yep.
I would.
No, it's true.
And
Yep, you are live on YouTube's.
yeah, but you can't post comments. No comments are coming from. Whoop, yes, it is. There it is.
Yep.
Okay, so it works. So for those who are watching and have no idea what's going on, not like we're any different. I am going through StreamYard. I'm going through my page on Facebook, the Mac the Future Go,
There's
or
still
Mac the Future Facebook page, and on a YouTube page that you'll see the link there.
and there's still no way to chat in StreamYard, which pisses me off.
Oh, you can chat in StreamYard between us,
Can't.
but you can't
Private.
post to any of the other locations through StreamYard. That's not necessarily.
In a onesie.
That's not necessarily a limitation of StreamYard as it is limitation of the other services.
I don't know about that.
Marcus is in a onesie.
I know. I heard. I'm proud of him for that comment.
Okay.
Somebody's cranky.
Oh, I'm not freaking cranky.
That's me. I had one of those days. So went to the doctor and
One of those days when you didn't feel so fresh.
yeah, it's just one of those days.
Do you ever have one of those days when you feel not so fresh? I used to hate those commercials. It's like, just
All right.
say it. All right, just say it. What's the big deal? It's a
feminine
natural thing.
Today
Yeah.
on Mac to the Future Go Livecast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking about menstruation. I don't know why. How odd is that? God, I'm so weird.
Let's just get through this.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
You already made us wait.
Start us
20
up.
I
minutes
know.
late now.
we're very, very late.
Start me up, Buttercup.
Fill me up, buttercup, baby.
Go,
Do, do, do,
go,
do, do.
go.
All right. I can't find. Where's my notes? My notes didn't come up when I restarted. There they are. I'm so sorry. I am very, very sorry. I am working on this. We're gonna get this. We're gonna be okay. We had echo problems, and it was all Warren's fault.
Should I share my screen?
No. Don't even pretend like it was my fault. It's too late. I already said it's a part of the record,
Maybe
the official record.
Maybe I should share my screen.
No, it's not allowed. All right, I'm going to the logo.
All right.
Logo. All right. And
You chill.
Stay awake.
And tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go, I almost couldn't even remember the name of my own show. A couple of stories from our neighbors to the north in Redmond, Washington, and nothing whatsoever to do with the fact that I have trouble remembering and saying their CEO's name. Also, Apple releases a new iMac just in time to promote their switch to a completely different architecture. Yeah, that's tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast. Go. Hello, everybody. We are live and only 20 minutes late, and that's sometimes how things roll. I am your host, Guy Searle. I'm gonna bring it up right here. Wow, it's almost like it's magic. Mac to the Future, one of the Mac to the Future hosts, mymac.com podcast, Guy's Daily Drive. It's all there. It is all there. And I am joined this evening by the very patient Mr. David Sklar. Hello there, Mr. David Sklar, or Ginsburg, as we sometimes call him too.
And it's
I'm trying to do a shortcut here, okay? So I say David Sklar, it encompasses everybody.
Okay, it's like I'm Tim Apple. It's and it's Satya Nadella to you. That's a Microsoft CEO, Satya.
Right. Micro guy. That's what I'm going to call him. Micro guy.
Doing great. Awesome. We're
Because
late.
he's shorter than me. We are late. And we also have Mr. Wait, I got to get rid of that. I'm so not prepared tonight. Mr. Warren Sklar. Hello there, sir. You're not even David Sklar, are you?
It might be Sal might be going. Sala must be going. Sala going. It might be Salma going.
Selma going?
Yeah.
Isn't that a city like in Alabama? Selma? No, it's Selma.
That's the Microsoft guy. Sal must be going.
Okay, sure. Yeah. We'll go with that. So, how are you all doing tonight? Doing okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for how late we were. Today was my wife's birthday. I took her out for like a late lunch, early dinner, and got back here and just woke up a little after 7 o'clock going, I am not ready for this show at all. And that's sometimes what happens. So we're gonna press on because that's what we do. So got a couple of quick takes here. Actually, but before we do that, this is important to know right here. Marcus Benjamin is in his onesie.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Very, very proud. It's a proud moment in my life to know that. So.
Yeah,
I think so. Mac OS Big Sur, the beta, is going to make dark mode even darker. The latest beta allows for disabling desktop tinting in system preferences. I have not yet tried this on the one computer that I'm running the beta, and actually that was on your old computer there, Warren, the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
I cannot put, and here's the thing, guys. Do not put beta software on your production machines.
Unless you're Warren Sklar.
That
is a terrible idea.
I did it right. I did it on this. In fact, I don't have one I don't have one device that's not on beta software.
Unless you're Warren Sklar.
Yeah.
What I
would not be able to do this show. I would not be able to do this show if I did that.
Well, you could triple boot. Like all my laptops, my 3 laptops right now will boot Catalina, Big Sur, call me Sir, damn it, and Windows because of reasons. So you just have to do it right. Now the phone.
Well, I've decided that the way to do it right is not to put beta software on my production machine.
Yeah, so you're a coward. What kind of?
Yeah. Okay.
Same here.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Okay. So, have you tried this yet, Warren?
No,
dark mode.
No, I haven't. I just I was working on another project, which was redoing my MacBook Air, with different operating systems again. So now now I'm triple booting on that one. Before I was
Sure.
just double booting, and then I was booting from. Anyways, I'll try it tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm a coward and you're schizophrenic. Let's just get that right out there. Right
My laptops are they run
Yeah.
multiple operating systems.
all at the same time. Ah, I am not paranoid. Why are you all against me? Okay,
Who said that?
very good. Who
Yes.
said that? There's a voice. There's voices in my head. Phil Schiller. David, I think that Phil Schiller is a swell Apple fellow.
Isn't he swell?
He's swell. And could either one of you explain to me what that means? I read that and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so he's giving up a high-profile job to be an Apple
I
fellow.
don't know if he's necessarily giving it up. I think, well, if you read the stories, he's 60 years old now. He's worked for Apple almost 30 years.
Yeah.
He's he put in a statement that it was his dream to come true to work at Apple, and as long as they'll have me, I always bleed 6 colors. The same old blah yada yada yada. But I think it was this time, just like Johnny Ive. It was his time to move on, and Greg Jaws is going to take over, and
So
Joss Whedon, and he's been around for a long time too. So. So I read another story about who are all the Apple fellows, and there's a whole list of them going back to the early days, including Woz and many others. Guy Kawasaki was another one. So he's going in the history books of Apple as being the greatest marketing VP they had.
So you think he's retiring? You think he's stepping away?
I think he's stepping away, but he's still going to be involved. I'm sure they're going to ask him of him some ideas for marketing and such. I don't see him disappearing, but you're just not going to see him at any keynotes anymore. That's for sure.
I think they said. I think he said he would still do some of those things.
Yeah, he will do some things. It's just not. Greg Jaws is going to be the one that's the man now.
I think I cannot picture how when you get to the level that these guys are at, because they've got stock options up the wazoo and have millions of dollars, in some cases possibly billions of dollars of Apple stock, and they're set for the rest of their lives. What does it take to get somebody out of bed in the morning to do the same old 9 to 5 when you have just that much money? I don't get it.
Because it's not the 9 to 5 at this level, and people at this level are with Phil Schiller a little different. He's different than Johnny Ive in a way. I think the company and Johnny Ive were at a point where they kind of didn't want to. They were on a little bit of a different path, and I think still when you're at Johnny Ive's level, you don't really you still leave on good terms and things like that, and you still help out. Phil Schiller, I think, is at a point where Apple, like if Phil Schiller said, I want to still work here full time, Tim Cook would say, absolutely, like, we love you, come stay. But he probably just doesn't want to do it anymore. He wasn't, he wants to do more filming and things like that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, so you become almost like a paid full-time consultant,
spokesperson. Yeah,
he's a consultant for the company that's on their payroll, and he'll be the kind of guy where any time of day you could send him an email or call him to ask him questions about something, and he'll get back to you. And what he said, maybe. But believe me, for the 10 hours a week that he might spend helping out Apple, he'll be paid very nicely, and he'll 10 hours or whatever, but his information is worth gold to Apple, and that's why they keep him around. Johnny Ive was like that, and I think if he retired earlier on before the butterfly keyboard issue, that might have been a little bit different. But the butterfly keyboard issue, I think, kind of soured things a little bit with Johnny Ive, because it was his perception to make things thinner, and it was the public's perception that the thinness made some sacrifices to the functionality of the product. So I think that's why they kind of went a little bit
So it was form over functionality, basically.
For Johnny Ive, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it's like the obsession to make a desktop computer as thin as you possibly can when really, literally, nobody cares.
yeah.
I mean, if just the fact that you can cut a large block of cheddar cheese with a 27-inch iMac, I don't think anybody was like, wow, well, that's a feature I've always wanted. I mean, what was really the point in making it even thinner? Sure, okay, you get great tests in a wind tunnel, but other than that, who cares?
Guy, I'm talking about the laptops. He made the laptops thinner.
Okay, well, do they how were the wind test tunnels for the MacBook Air?
They flew like air.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why they're named Air.
Yep. In fact, the further up they flew, the more expensive they were. It was a different configuration. After you pick the memory and the hard drive size, it's the height of the how much air it got when the antenna went through it.
And whether or not it was aerodynamic. Very good.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna move on to the main stories. A couple here from Microsoft, which really kind of surprised me as I was going through this. Microsoft, the CEO,
Satya Nadella.
The Bill Gates company.
Nelson guy. I can't remember his name.
Nelson Mine.
Satya Nadella.
Satya Nadella. Isn't that like a spread? No, that's Nutella, not Nutella. Okay.
That's Ted Nugent.
Got it. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent Ella. That's his name.
Fever.
Yeah. Microsoft to end tests with xCloud. Microsoft has been testing a gaming platform with the ability to play Xbox games anywhere through streaming and was trying it out on both Android and iOS and by extension iPadOS. However, Apple's iOS policy of not allowing apps to be acquired outside of the iOS App Store has led Microsoft to end their test with the operating system. Microsoft had seeded a preview version for about 10,000 people with the game Halo the Master Chief Collection, but will focus now primarily on the Android platform. So it seems like every single week there's this narrative that's being pushed that because of Apple's resistance to opening up iOS and by extension the iPad OS to alternative ways of getting applications that it's somehow limited. And let's start with Dave. Dave, what do you think about that?
Yeah, with anything with this stuff, it's just hard to say with the gaming. I'm by no means I follow much of this in the gaming thing, so it's.
Aren't you elite?
Be interesting. Did I what?
Elite.
Aren't you elite? Aren't you elite gamer?
Elite? Far from.
Yeah. Okay.
But
it's what the kids say.
It's interesting that they're going to focus on the Android platform, but so it is. I mean, but Microsoft continues to support both platforms, and I can't see it not changing. Anything.
Okay, Warren.
Yeah, no, I think if these companies think that if they keep, insulting Apple's store policies, that they'll change it. Like if every week somebody keeps saying that their store's unfair or doesn't do things that it should be doing, then Apple's going to say, "Hey, you're right," and we're going to change. But as long as Apple's posting, numbers like they're doing it, that last week, I don't think they're going to change. They don't care, and I don't know if they should or not. Because that's what they've been doing, and that's what they're going to do.
Okay, well, let me ask you both something. So, what is the number one main benefit of remaining with just the one app store?
For who? For the user or for Apple?
For users. No, not so much for Apple. I mean, Apple, it's money. That's really what it comes down to is money. But for the end user, and I guess by extension, Apple, what is the main benefit of not allowing outside people to create apps for iOS and iPadOS?
You'll get a lot more apps. A lot of them will be crappy. Some of them
will be Android.
Yeah. You'll have Android, and even though Android, they let more people in, and you can sideload things onto Android, but you'll just get You know, what's going to happen is if they opened it up, the first few years, a year or two, it's going to be crazy. Everybody's going to like who wanted to put a fart app in there that Apple doesn't allow anymore, or anything that might be somewhat shady. It's going to go in there, and then after a while, people are going to realize that nobody's making money on this secondary store because this is where all the cheap people are going to try to find free stuff or junk, and they'll stop doing it eventually, and it will become a graveyard of nothing, and then people will probably go back to the App Store if it's not ruined by that point. It's people think they want it until they get it. I think it's what's going to happen, and everybody thinks they want a secondary App Store.
Okay, well, what about security? Isn't that a concern as well? If Apple doesn't have control over the iOS App Store, and I mean, and there's a security issue we're going to talk about next. But one of the ways that you introduce security issues, as far as a somewhat limited mobile experience with limited number of APIs and all the rest of that, is to allow outside forces to bring in applications and or programs that may or may not have a detrimental effect on the platform. So wouldn't side loading also possibly introduce insecurities?
Depends. I mean, Apple could certainly lock. Apple could, if that happened, Apple could say any application that did not come through the App Store has no access to any of the hardware.
Wow. Well, then if they did that, it wouldn't be that much different from what they're doing now.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now the App Store gives.
It's like, okay, well, you can introduce an app, but it won't have access to cameras, microphones, the various APIs of the operating system. So, yeah, pretty much the only thing you can do is create a free fart app.
Yeah.
Sideload a fart app
with a fart pack.
But you could, the phone's at a point now where the phone tells you, at least iOS 14 beta does right now too. It tells you almost everything that is going on. Like when something's accessing a microphone, somebody's, it's copy pasting, even more so where people are companies are getting in trouble, legitimate companies, because they're doing things that they're not advertising or doing. So, I mean, you could say, Tim Cook could say, okay, go ahead, go nuts, sideload it. Your phone's going to tell you everything that it's doing, and you're going to say yes or no. And at that point, if you're sending your information to China, then that's on you at this point. They could do that.
But that's not always the way. I mean, perception is reality. So if the iPhone suddenly becomes unstable because someone has downloaded or sideloaded an application that was meant to, do harmful things to that device, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to remember that it was that sideloaded app where the instability started. They're going to go, oh, my phone is screwed up because Apple sucks. Because people are stupid.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, really. I mean, I don't mean to sound,
Are you for the side loading or against it? I'm not sure where you're going with that.
I'm not for iOS. I am, because there's no history of it, and the one of the main focuses of Apple's mobile platforms has always been security. To me, anything that enhances that security is a good thing, and anything that possibly takes that away is a very bad thing. The horse left the barn as far as Mac OS goes. I mean, that's you couldn't probably go to an App Store only experience on the Mac OS without a huge backlash. But because it's always been that way in iOS and the iPad OS, I think for the most part, other than the loud voices screaming for it, that nobody really cares that you can't sideload apps.
Oh, I know the three of us don't. I think the three of us agree with the Apple App Store and their practices at this point, for the most part, here, because we understand it, and we understand that if it's not that way, then iOS wouldn't be iOS; it would be Android.
Yeah, and if I want Android, I'll buy an Android phone.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So to kind of wrap this up, is there any way that Apple could allow Microsoft to sell games within their xCloud environment, as you know, so that they could play Xbox games on an iPhone or an iPad and not violate the terms of service as far as side-loading apps and the rest of that. For because it would basically be like an in-app purchase. So couldn't they do that, and then Apple still gets their, you know, make it some kind of deal on the back end as far as what Apple's cut would be, but have it be like an in-app purchase for other xCloud games within this environment.
Who are you starting with?
Oh, sorry, Dave. Let's go with Dave.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't violate the terms of service or what Apple puts out there, then yeah, it's all for it. But again, it's also going to compete against Apple Arcade. So you don't know. I mean, the way Apple's doing Apple Arcade is they got the games already built in, and it's part of that one app that they get access to. So hard to say if Microsoft would be able to come up with a way to be able to quote unquote sideload these games into the app as an in-app purchase and still follow the guidelines of what Apple says that's how it has to be in the App Store.
Okay, Warren.
So it's not, just to be clear, it's not there's no side loading really. It's a subscription. It's like Stadia is what it is, and basically it's a gaming
Platform.
app. It's a platform. It's an app on either the iOS or Android device that could play games from a catalog that you purchase, and it streams
Through Microsoft, right?
Right, and it streams the game that you're playing. So Microsoft was saying that there was just too many issues with I don't think they were even complaining about the App Store as much as with the problems with iOS itself, as far as the limitations, probably of the things we were talking about with some of the hardware that it needs the APIs for and needs to get, need to have more access than you have. But if they figured it out, I think both companies would probably still benefit for it. I bet there'd be a lot of kids out there who would certainly pick up an iPad to be able to play, if the games are any good, Xbox games, wherever they go. I know, is it Carl? Carl plays with Stadia, and he says it's hit or miss depending on what he does.
Yeah, I've got a Stadia account, and I tried it with some of the Steam games that I own once, because once Catalina came out, a lot of my Steam games stopped working because they were all 32-bit instead of 64-bit, and it was just not a great experience. So if you're trying to play a game over, and you have to stream it, you have to stream all of the functions of that game, what it is that you're seeing, what it is that you're doing, and you're relying on the speed of your internet connection. And I mean, mine isn't like crazy good right now. It's going to change tomorrow, but right now I've got like 100 up, 100 down, which for everything that I typically do is fine. I mean, it's great. I'm able to work from home and all the rest of that. That's not an issue. But when you're talking about high definition games and using a wireless controller to control your character in whatever it's doing wirelessly through this game, well, you're introducing all kinds of potential lag that is going to make the game just not a good experience
in 2020. But eventually it will work.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow I'm going to gigabit Ethernet.
I don't mean work for you. I mean in general, like everybody.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Are you going to be gigabit up and gigabit down? What's going to be your up speed?
That's what I'm not sure about yet. I'll find that out once they.
Right?
If it's Comcast,
no, it's the V word.
Verizon.
Yeah.
No. Well,
They don't advertise in anything that I do, so
Oh.
I don't like to give companies free plugs unless I get something out of it.
If you're getting Fios, then you got good up and good down. That's
Fios I thought was
Yeah.
Frontier. I thought they sold that.
Fios.
No, Fios is Verizon.
I guess it depends on where.
And I typically get high with the 100 gigabit speeds that I have now. I typically get, and I don't understand this, I typically get faster upload speeds than I do download speeds.
I'm on
thought was weird.
Fios. I'm on Ethernet Fios right now. I am kidding.
All right, but we're gonna move on to the next story.
$880 880 megabits per second up and down.
Okay, well that's okay, I guess.
You think that's all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
Where I don't get.
I'm only 1/8 of that speed, so what do I know? Yeah.
Microsoft.
Okay.
What should I download?
Microsoft security. There's been a security issue found in Microsoft Office thanks to a former NSA hacker, Patrick Wardle. He found a security breach within Microsoft Office that could have allowed an attacker to gain access to a Mac computer with a document that would contain malicious code. By utilizing an older version of the SLK format, which I'm not familiar with, he was able to bypass basic Mac security. The Mac OS doesn't even ask the user if they want the OS to open the file. However, to go on from there, the code tries to run a macro within MS Office that would open a dialog box asking for permission and relies on user impatience to click the warning away. The breach has now been patched within the latest versions of MS Office and Mac OS Catalina, but users of older versions of both might still be vulnerable. So let's start with Warren. Warren, what do you think?
Yeah, non-story. It's one of those same old stories. A researcher in a white coat in some lab discovered a vulnerability that nobody else in the world ever experienced and was patched before anybody will. So I always laugh at these because, then people will post saying things like, see Max, blah, blah.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Right.
I'm like,
see, viruses on Macs, blah, 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 blah.
I'm like, show me a screenshot of where this happened to you. Show me.
In the wild, from anybody.
No, just, you know what? Make it actually happen. Record your screen and show me exactly this, that you could replicate this. Could never happen. So, I mean, that's like, you call people out on these things too. Like somebody once told me they had a ransomware attack on a Mac, no Windows environment, pure Mac. I haven't seen it. I read one thing that they've discovered that it could happen, but I've never seen ransomware done on a Mac. Not because of anything other than the encryption process is different on the Mac, and it's just nobody's done it, and nobody's allowed it. Nobody wrote something that where you hit your password will encrypt your files. I think just it's a different system. So you call people on this out, and I'm like, no, I've seen it. Go. You know what? Okay,
my sister's brother's cousin's neighbor on his fourth wife's side was the one that it happened to. So I know it's real.
So I said, go ahead and show me it. Any Windows virus that's out there, you could disable your antivirus software and get that virus and just and demonstrate it. And nobody could do that on Mac.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, same thing. I think it's a bunch of crap. Honestly, I mean, it's just guy in a lab coat just has nothing else better.
What is it with you two guys in lab coats? What's the deal with that? You guys, show me where the guy in the lab coat touched you inappropriately.
And this is where we scream back and see Dave and I as like babies being whipped.
Yeah. Go away.
You Mac boys are gonna be trouble.
Okay. All right. I need it.
Make sure you get a pocket protector in there too.
Oh yeah. Oh, that with a calculator. It's just poking right up through the
even a slide rule.
Just keep saying, I found a vulnerability. It's
there. The vulnerability is real.
I saw it. And it's been patched, but I've seen it.
New iMacs.
Yeah.
Are you trying to move us on here, Dave? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, I am.
Okay. New Intel Mac released. A tech bump for the 27-inch iMac will use Intel's latest 6 and 8 core 10th gen processors and, whoa, a higher resolution 1080p webcam, which I'm totally not using at the moment. You can only get SSDs. So for storage lovers of Apple's Fusion Drive, both of them, you will probably be unhappy. Max internal storage for those with big pocketbooks is up to 8 terabytes of storage inside these beasts. And you can also add in up to 128 gigs of RAM. Base model for $17.99 has a 3.1 gigahertz 6-core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 SSD, and a 4 gigabyte Radeon Pro 5300.
Radeon.
So if this had come out prior to WWDC, I think a lot of people would have been like, whoa, that's like fantastic. But what do you think they're saying now? Let's start with Warren again. What do you think, Warren?
I think people who would be in the market would still be interested in it. And I think this computer probably would last. I think it would last the life of the computer. Even.
Oh, you mean as far as updates and all the rest of that goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's like 6-7 years. I think is an average life for a computer, and I think it's going to run whatever people want it to run, even after the switch to Silicon, Apple Silicon. I think it's going to run its course of time. It's not for me. It's just funny. Tim Cook said we still have Intel Macs in the pipeline. So I think right before that show, somebody whispered in. He's like, "We have this whole stock room
filled with computers
that we never sold these model iMacs before we decided we were going to go. What do we do? Oh,
quick! Put them all on Wish."
Yeah, no,
okay.
We got these. So whether this is the last. He said we still have some Intel Macs out there. He might be saying we still have some Intel Mac out there, and this might be it. It's possible because it was just left over from the previous.
What was ready to go before they decided that this was going to be the switch?
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
So things.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. Also see that they it says new for the 27-inch, but they're still selling the 21.5-inch. And if you go into the 21.5-inch, it shows 256 solid state is the standard, but they're still offering the 1 terabyte Fusion drive if you want as an option at no additional cost.
Yeah.
So why would you do it? Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be at 256 solid state and just deal with it if I was really in the market to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at this, and I also look at the iMac Pro, which starts at $5,000, which is Xeon processors up to 10 and 18 cores, which could be you could put it at the cost of a Mac Pro. But the fact of the matter is, I think these are here to stay for the good forward 5-6 years. I mean, I don't think anybody should have any worry. If you're in the market to getting a new iMac, this is a no-brainer. I mean, especially people who have, if they have 5 and 7-year-old iMacs now. I mean, if they're ready. I mean, I just don't see the Apple Silicon going in these iMacs for the next for the next year, maybe 2 years, because they're already still, they're already going to be working on getting it working in the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro. I would venture to say maybe they'll have it in the Mini since they had the developer kit tested in the Mini, but who knows? The way they've treated the Mini, where it would be, they'll probably the last thing they do is update that one. But I just don't see it not happening. People, it's fine if you're in the market, get it. I mean, if you're not in the market for an iMac, if you're happy with what you have, stay with it.
Yeah. If this was released after the Switch, maybe I'd be a little different. But we're still nobody knows for sure exactly when the Switch is going to.
There's no time frame with Silicon.
Or what the order of what hardware will be released will be
right. You don't know.
Released.
I mean,
the first few years on Apple Silicon is going to be a little more sketchier in support, I think. Then
you almost have to question: do you want to buy the first gen Apple Silicon machine?
As compared to the previous gen Intel.
Why not both?
At the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, everybody works out that way. Well, based on previous experiences, as far as what the, a bunch of dust in here, as compared to what was going on before, the first gen PowerPC machines were very, very iffy, and the first gen, God, I don't know what is. There is like all kinds of weird dust and stuff going on. Either that, or I'm losing my mind. And it wasn't that not that far a stretch.
That sleep haze you had.
Yeah.
Sleep haze.
I think you're blowing us kisses.
Yeah. So, basically, first gen processor switches for Apple they've been okay machines, but certainly nothing that's been, blow me away out of the water kind of thing. The very first Intel Macs were single core. What did they call those? It was like a single core. I can't remember the name of them now, but it was like not that they weren't that great machines. And within 6 months, I believe pretty much all of them had been replaced with, at the very least, dual core machines. So, whether you want, if you're looking long term and you need a Mac today, well, then you have to go with Intel. But even after Silicon comes out, it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of the same thing. You either wait for the second gen Silicon Macs to come out, or you buy a previous gen that's probably, Intel Mac that's probably going to be fire sale priced. Core Solo, yes, thank you. As compared to Core Duo, I couldn't remember it. Thank you, Marcus.
Or Han Solo.
Yeah, or Han Solo, Chewbacca.
Han Solo.
That's what they should call it. Much better than the Princess Leia machines, because so whiny.
Yeah.
All right, we're going off.
Okay, we're kind of losing it here. Let's start with Dave. Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you and tell you things, how would they do it?
They do it by going to In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. Listen to our podcast.
Which has it's a new site, by the way. I don't know if you've said that before.
I have said that before, and I've even improved it even more. So we've got some nice updates to the episodes. And
let me guess, more marshmallows. You went with more
marshmallows. There's even a featured episode page if you click the tab at the top. And
sweet.
I've got the 100th episode video stream right at the top of the page, and then all the episodes below it. So yeah, you got some easy ways of getting and listening to us. So check it out, intouchwithios.com, and my Twitter is DaveG65.
Okay, Warren.
Just follow Dave. You'll find me eventually.
And you'll be there somewhere?
Yeah.
Somewhere. I'll be there.
Warren is switching back to silicone, which most people here aren't going to understand, but that is oh yeah. See, now I can't show that comment.
I did it on purpose, actually.
Or Marcus, I can't show that comment here on screen.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But it is funny. Okay. If you'd like to get a hold of me, my email address is guy@mymac.com. Twitter is MacParrot and or VertShark. The podcasts, besides the Mac to the Future livecast, the MyMac podcast that I've been doing for so long, I can't even remember when we started. And Guy's Daily Drive, which he comes out whenever I feel like it.
If you drive.
Yeah. If you'd like to see everything that I do, you can pretty much go on over to vertshark.com, where there's dedicated links to all of the audio and for the fine audio and video content that I create. I'm Guy Searle over there on the YouTube. So if you go over there and subscribe, make sure to like, share, subscribe. And if you miss it the first time, like, share, subscribe right over there. And we would really appreciate it. And somebody has a weird bird. Where is that bird coming from? But I think that is going to do it for this evening. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us here on the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. We really appreciate the fact we know that you have a choice in content, and we are ever so happy that you have chosen us. We don't really quite understand it, but we're very, very happy that you've done so.
It has to do with the silicon.
So, does it have to do with the silicon? Okay. Yeah.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah. So, good night, Gracie. We'll see you all next week, right here, right on this very page. The Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. Good night. Okay. So
Goodbye.
we're back for just a minute. Are you leaving?
I'm about to go. Yeah, I'm tired. I had a
Okay. For people who are in the know, I guess I haven't. You wouldn't be in the know because I haven't said it yet. I am looking to replace both the opening and closing. I guess little movies that play before we start this show. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to completely redo them because
I was looking to replace the two co-hosts I have.
Yeah, I thought you were going to dump
really.
us.
That's where the.
Oh no!
That's where I thought you were going with it. I'm looking to replace.
No, if that was it, I would have waited till you both left. Like, yeah. What is Pac Merit?
Pac Merit instead of
production?
Mac Parent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could do that.
Like Tig Bits.
Is this
Well, see now because this isn't going to go on, I can show everybody. That was the graphic.
I think you could have posted that with.
Maybe.
Really? A nat sign and a pound sign? That was going to be. Ooh, you're edgy with that
So
sign.
It's graphic.
we're very family friendly here, or we try to be.
Right.
But because I no longer use Adobe Premiere Elements, which is what I made both of those in, I'm gonna have to redo them in DaVinci. And I just got to find time. I'm still editing the iMac video that I shot last weekend. We had Mike Potter on, as a matter of fact.
Oh, good.
And we were talking. Yeah, it's there. And he had many kind things to say about you, Dave.
Did he?
He did.
Better go back and listen.
All right, Warren. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Are you on next week?
Sure, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as long as it's a definite maybe. That's
Definitely maybe.
what matter. Okay.
We'll see him tomorrow. Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna go too.
All right, Dave. So
say goodbye, everybody.
Before you go, I'm just putting it out there. If anybody wants to do like a 30 to 45-second intro using whatever program you want to use, I'd really appreciate it. That would really help me out. And
What kind of intro?
well, for Mac to the Future for this show.
Like a video or?
Yeah, just like an intro video and an outro video, like what what I'm using now.
Just graphics,
But-
music, the whole thing.
Yeah, but it can't have music that is going to get me in trouble.
Royalty-free music.
Yes, so don't use Pink Floyd, don't use Led Zeppelin. I would like to also, but we can't. We can't do those things. All right, Dave.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
And so that's going to do it for tonight. Sorry about starting so late. We had some technical issues that required a few changes, but that's going to do it. And thank you all, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.